Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory.
Kamala concedes, kind of. We'll get to that in a minute. MSN, NBC, PBS, they all lose it. They lose it. We knew this would happen because what they do is they first lie.
Who called him a fascist. Today, you quoted General Kelly, who said that Trump repeatedly praised Hitler.
Yeah.
But there are tens of millions of Americans right now who have heard all those things and they don't buy it.
And then if they can't cheat and lie and steal their way into something, then they blame. They'll turn on each other, blame each other. They'll blame anybody. They'll lie more. They'll keep spinning out and they start demonizing everybody. I mean, watch this.
Talking about Harris's supporters and members of the liberal media, they're apparently shattered and in disbelief over Trump's win. Here is some of that reaction.
I'm profoundly disturbed. I'm worried about mass deportation and internment camps. What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump, uneducated white women.
Condescending, insulting, absolutely not true. Say it to our face.
Can't help but wonder if the American people have given up on democracy.
If the American people have given up on democracy in a democratic election where the candidate that they just didn't want won. That is actually democracy. It would be a dictatorship if we all had to follow your orders and just vote because you've shamed us and ridiculed us and gaslit us so much. That's a dictatorship.
That says about us as a country.
It says, Gail, that we had two options and the American people voted for Donald Trump. Majority, right? There are some people, obviously, that voted for Kamala, and obviously they're very, very upset. But there were two options. Well, more than that, but two at the top of the ticket. Okay, Gail, that's how that works, Gail.
Here's what President Trump had to say in his victory speech earlier this morning.
This was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. It's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight.
Donald Trump reclaimed the White House, but also because, as you said, he's going to win the popular vote, something Republicans haven't done in 2 decades. And I think it's a clear signal that there is a new coalition of working class Americans that are made up of all races that are responding to Donald Trump's message of strong leadership, economic growth, and America First policies. There's been a lot of coverage so far of exit polling, but one thing I haven't seen covered yet is parents. Donald Trump won parents 50-47, and there was no gender gap amongst parents. He won moms 49-48. He won dads 52-48. Important aspect is you look at the working class coalition and the parents that came together to put Donald Trump back in the White House, and that's really what made the difference for him.
All they know how to do is ridicule, gaslight, lie, cheat. And then if none of that works, they are furious because they're like, how could it not work? It has to work. And if it doesn't, which in this case, as we know, it didn't, then they start blaming. They'll blame anybody and everybody for their shortcomings. Watch this.
Ain't nothing, zero. They had no respect. They had no coordination. They didn't talk. I never even had a conversation with the lady. They didn't even do the right thing as far as giving us the resources that we need, and they want to blame us. And now I understand some of their cape was blaming Joe Biden. Can you imagine blaming Joe Biden for her loss? She lost. He didn't lose.
Phone is blowing up with recriminations and people just freaking out. This is not the outcome that we expected at all. One of the things that are top of mind is the choice of Tim Walz as the vice presidential candidate. A lot of people are saying tonight that it should have been Josh Shapiro. Frankly, people have been saying that for months. I hate to say this, but I'm not sure how much Tim Walz contributed to the ticket.
But the left and the people demonizing Trump are creating monsters. They're creating a mental health epidemic. And maybe that's another way for them to win, because then they'll just swoop them in with big pharma. I don't know. Ultimately, they just want control anyway. So maybe they just want their people spinning out and completely losing their minds. Trump derangement is real, and people are going to have to start asking questions of themselves and self-reflecting and really questioning if they really do believe in freedom. If they really do believe in freedom of speech. Hillary Clinton is now campaigning that all podcasts should be removed and that we shouldn't have a voice. that only legacy media should have a voice.
On the gut check we got last night.
I mean, my gut is terrible because I think that I don't know that the folks that voted for Donald Trump, that all of them at least realize what they've signed us up for.
He's saying he's pooping his pants. And look, again, condescending. We do know what we signed up for. And the beautiful thing is that everyone's going to do better. Even the people that hate Trump are going to do better. I mean, even all these shows that hate Trump are going to do better because their ratings are going to be through the roof. But not only that, the economy is going to be better. We're going to be safer. We're going to be able to use our natural resources. Gas is going to be less expensive. So even the richest people are going to enjoy that. But meanwhile, he's pooping his pants.
So I thought Chris Hayes last night with you guys, one thing he said that I thought was very insightful is that I think the aperture is very wide on the potential outcomes. And God willing, we fall in on the kind of manageably bad side of the outcomes. But I think that there's a very wide potential for quite disastrous outcomes. I don't know that a lot of folks signed up for that.
We'll see what that is, because I think part of it is that Trump became so crude. And I think it all goes back to grab women in the P word. I think because it's such an awful, vulgar word.
She's jealous because he didn't say that about her.
An awful, vulgar word. No one heard it after the first time it was said. And
no, the awful, vulgar words, I can't even say it, are the words that you guys say about fascism and racism and all these lies that are really hurting the American psyche of the people who believe them. That's vulgar, not some remark that he made years ago when he thought it was in private with guys. I mean, has nobody hung out with people in the world? But you're not offended by criminals coming in and harming our children. You're not offended by that at all, but you're offended by the P word? Really?
So the aperture. So what does that mean?
Look, here's Donald Trump's stated campaign agenda. Like not hysterics, not hyperbole. Like this is what he says. He was on the campaign trail: 1,000, 2,000% tariffs, mass deportations, drilling. So that one's we can.
Yeah, you help us. That's going to help the economy. See, these people are so disconnected. All of Kamala's plans were ways to tear the economy down, to increase more rates for us. Even all her little presents to everybody. You know, here's a $20,000 to new businesses. Here's this and that. Where's that coming from? That's not magical money. That's coming from taxpayers. Hello, people are like, whoosh. They don't even know how to generate wealth. See, Trump knows how to do that. This goes way over their heads.
You can check that box. That's a normal Republican box.
Oh my gosh, these people just drive me cuckoo banana bread.
And using the Justice Department to go after his foes.
Oh my gosh, that's what they are doing to him. They literally are the best example of narcissists. Narcissists do this time and time and time again. This is what they do. They say everything that they're doing, but they blame it on you. Everything that they're doing, they say you're doing.
That's the
tribunal for Liz Cheney.
Yeah, sure. He would also say some of that.
Executing Liz Cheney. Look at her. She's so smug. They do not watch the entire thing. He never said he wanted to execute Liz Cheney. I did a short on this. I did a whole other video on this if you want to check it out. He never said that. He said, basically, see, people don't have common sense and they do not understand nuance. Not everybody. You guys do. But the people who are attacking him, they don't understand. He was saying, how would she like war if she had guns facing in her face? Maybe she wouldn't like it then. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but that's essentially what he was saying. And now they're like, he wants the execution of Liz Cheney? Oh my gosh, how could people vote for that? Really?
I'm going to be a dictator on day one.
I want to be a dictator on day one. Another one that they take out of context. I'm going to be a dictator on day one because on day one, I'm closing the border and I'm going to drill, baby, drill. After that, I'm not going to be a dictator. That's what he said. And what does he mean by that? He means those are two things that are non-negotiable because he knows it'll immediately start healing the country. So those two things are non-negotiable. He's going to drill, baby, drill, and he's going to close the border. And those two things are going to help immediately. Meanwhile, Kamala's plan was to sit down with a to-do list. What? You should have been sitting down with a to-do list 4 years ago, Kamala. That's why you lost.
What did he say? What am I going to do on day one? It was mass deportations, tariffs, drilling, Ukraine, right? That's the agenda. That all can, just that Like, right, just
that will help the United States. Just that, Tim Miller, will help the United States significantly.
stated part of the agenda could have very serious consequences, economic, on the tariffs.
Yes, economically, we're all going to do better with the tariffs. That's right.
The disruption from mass deportations.
Yes, the disruption of the criminals not being able to rob us anymore, the fentanyl being able to dissipate in the streets. Yes, we're going to notice. We're going to notice the effects right away. You're right. It's going to be very positive.
Obviously, horrific consequences for our Democrats.
The criminals? Yeah, horrific consequences for the criminals. Why are you on the criminal side? Remember the American people? Remember? Are you that disconnected? Okay, the answer is yes, you are.
Including, we saw Marco Rubio earlier today saying that the Senate is going to defer to him on confirmations for people like.
Look, they get that disgust. You notice that? He got that little disgust, contempt when the lip goes up like that.
That the Senate is going to defer to him on confirmations for people like RFK Jr., et cetera. So I think it will be a more.
Oh my gosh, we're going to make America healthy again. Oh my gosh, we're not going to be giving all these chemicals to our kids. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? The only chemicals we should give them are 510 jabs. I mean, hello.
Radical cabinet as well. So, I mean, that's like my gut is just concerns about what is foreseeable, also concerns about what is unforeseeable.
Well, you're going to poop your pants. That is foreseeable. So just wear a diaper and you'll be much better. Okay? We're good. I get fired up because the lies, I just can't take it. And I'm a little bit concerned. Well, we already know they're planning something, right? And this whole like, we're conceding. I think they're planting the seeds that they're going to try to overturn this thing. They're going to try to steal the election is what they're going to do. And then they're going to go, hey, we conceded. We were so lovely. Why aren't you doing the same thing? Oh, you're against democracy. I can already see that coming. Let me know in the comments if you think they're planting the seeds for some later destruction. They're going to try to steal the election still and then go, oh, Kamala's the winner. Underestimated the power of American people. They thought they could shame and gaslight us into voting for Kamala, making us believe that if we didn't, that we were misogynistic or homophobic or racist, right?
They need to say, yes, there's misogyny, but it's not just misogyny from white men.
Mm-hmm.
It's misogyny from Hispanic men.
Right.
It's misogyny from black men, things we've all been talking about, who do not want a woman leading them.
What is she taking notes about? What is she taking notes about?
Might be race issues with Hispanics. They don't want a black woman as president of the United States. You know, the
Look at what he just said about Hispanics. Why is this okay? Why is it not okay for a comedian to tell a joke about trash? He wasn't talking about the Puerto Rican people, by the way. He was talking about trash. He was making a joke. Okay, whether you like the joke or not, that was a joke. Okay, and they were all up in arms about that. This is the duplicity that Americans could not stand anymore, and why Trump, thank God, has been elected for the 47th president of the United States. Praise God. It's because of comments like this. It is so hypocritical. Listen to what he says.
men.
Mm-hmm.
It's misogyny from Hispanic men.
Right.
It's misogyny from black men, things we've all been talking about, who do not want a woman leading them. Might be race issues with Hispanics. They don't want a black woman as president of the United States. You know, the Democratic Party, I've always found when you're sitting around talking, they love to just sort of balkanize everybody into these separate groups and say, oh, white people don't like women and black.
Exactly. They're divisive and people are tired of the division. This is it. Putting everybody in a bucket. And instead of saying, hey, maybe people didn't like Kamala's policies. Hey, maybe there's something that we didn't understand over here from the working class Americans. Hey, maybe there's something we could learn from them. No, their MO is to attack, shame, scold, and divide even more, and to scare and to instill fear and hatred into people in the name of love and unity. That is the BS that people saw through, thank God, during this election.
A lot of Hispanic voters have problems with black candidates.
Right.
A lot
and
of
with other Hispanics, you
And-
got some
and-
that
exactly.
don't like each other. And
Right.
and some of the most misogynist things I've heard going on this Get Out the Vote tour came from black men.
And now they're trying to spin it to say, don't trust people. See, they want us to all not trust each other and hate each other. And many people have just woken up to that. That's all.
They're feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept.
See, she never knows how to work off of people either. It's like, I know she's just trying to be cute and charming there, but she doesn't really get it. She doesn't really understand. And then watch the way she dismisses Trump. It's really, she's pretending and trying to act like she's being so respectful so that she can further shame and scold. But it's not really the high class act that she's trying to put on here. Watch.
Must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory.
She seems like she has the biggest hangover ever. What do you think? I'm sorry, Kamala. You hit that bottle hard last night, didn't you?
I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition.
His transition. That would be a twist. Trump was like, okay, to meet Kamala in the middle and to meet all the Democrats in the middle who really wanted a woman as the president, the first woman president, I will go through a transition. Could you imagine? We'd be like, what? What is happening?
Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
Uh-oh, does that mean they're planning something? Uh-oh. I don't know. Do we believe her there? I hope so. I hope so, because nobody ever asked her, are you going to concede? Are you going to have a peaceful transition of power? So this feels like a scolding right now and a little, reverse psychology, but let's not put it out there. Let's just pray. Everything's good. Everything's good. God bless America. God bless Trump. Let's pray for all of our safety.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
Okay, behavior right there was shifty.
I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
She's still going to fuel the division. We can count on that.
Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness. And now we are going to fulfill that mission together. We're going to fulfill that mission.
This would put a toll on anybody, but he is strong enough to take it. And that's why we're really lucky to have him.